super cool dude as well. For a minute, he was trying to do a little podcasting as well, and he got me on there. So I'm sure that conversation is going to be interesting. I'm gonna tune into that. That fool always has something interesting to say.
Yeah, he be on some. That one might be on some shit though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy for me, but I like him as like it's kind of weird, you know. I'm not into it, but I can kind of see people. You feel me? And I can just tell that feels like solid, you know. And like our politics might not be the same, or ideas might not be the same, but how he carries himself in the streets and as an individual, I think we have a lot more in common. So that's what like I focus on that, and I think it's cool for everybody. I'm happy that he's passionate about something, you know. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, and he's not afraid to be who he is and speak on it. So
Exactly.
more
That's what
power.
I love about people, girl, is that like he could be like that's a good example of just somebody that Avato that could be like, hey man, I already got this following. I can't, I don't know if I should be myself. You know, I'm really thinking these things, you know, and then so he goes on, he's himself. And I think people don't give a fuck about what he's talking about necessarily more than knowing that he's really believes in what he's saying. So whatever he talks about, they're gonna fuck with him because they believe him basically.
Yeah, and he knows how to have a good debate. Like, even though he may not agree with you. You know what I'm saying? There's always a good debate that'll come from that. So that'll be interesting. I'm gonna tune into that.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like there's like this resurgence of like Northern California music, you know what I mean? And kind of northern that side. How do you feel like that? Because I'm seeing like you all, I'm seeing a gang of people in San Jose, I'm seeing all this in the valley. There's a whole bunch of shit going popping up with NOR and Rico Too Smooth and seeing going all those guys and Shimo Media, shout out to all them. And like just a gang, I've seen there's just I feel like there's like a resurgence. What do you think is going on, or is it just
I think honestly, what I think it is like the homeboy music, I guess you could say, or whatever you want to call it, is kind of stepping out of the like original like modern homeboy,
thank God?
right? Right, like
Sorry, but
even the beats that they're using, the flows that they're using, everything is completely switching up. Like if you listen to what it was to compare to now, I think the beats, the flows, even the artists that are coming out, like Rico, for example, that flow that he has is very in, right? So he's kind of opening the door. I'm now seeing other homeboy rappers that are coming through that have similar flow, similar swag. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
yeah, I feel like
I don't know if I'm really bad with terms because I mean, I work in so many worlds because I do photography, but it kind of has that drill feeling a little bit. And I just think it's great. And, you know, it's kind of open. I think it's opening all of us to, you know, but I tell them too, you know, to make sure that when you open up to like, be willing to be open-minded in the sense of like, talk about other things so that you're not just rapping to your own people, you know, like in the end, you don't want to box yourself in. And I think that they're actually going to, that group and other groups, I think we're all going to be able to merge out of that a little bit. Well, like what I mean, keeping it a little bit, but being open to so much more now.
yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. I feel like that's something that like Bay Area artists struggle with in general, because we're so used to talking to one specific audience.
And we get love here.
Right? Yeah, and yeah, I mean that's like my goal as an artist. I want to be able to not just reach the Bay Area. I want people in LA or Houston, whatever, to be able to like, oh, I relate. You know what I'm saying? I can sit here about that too.
Yeah, that's what I actually like about GT and all that because it's not just all that, but it's also the network that they have of all the people that go to those deals with. Man, I was with him for like 10 days. I thought he was like one thing, and then he's like bigger than I thought he was in terms of just everything that he does, and then just how he treats people. It's crazy. But we'll be going like one drive, and he'll make like 3 or 4 business deals just on that little drive. You know what I mean?
Dang, that's what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah, man. We're working on a documentary because, in my opinion, I feel like Gold Toes hasn't got his due respect that's necessarily in terms of what he's done for us when we were youngsters to now, where he's still doing. There's not really any Chicano. What I say, my kind of brown, my kind of Chicano, like more street Chicano, not like Hispanic or Latinx. I don't deal with any of that shit. But like our street Chicano, there's nobody like him, in my opinion, that carries himself the way he does. That has the personal, legitimate history. Um, you know, as a homie and much more, and his from his father too, and other places. So it's just so dope, and I think his story should be told in a focused manner.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to give people their flowers while they're still here. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, that's fucking.
Yeah, tell me a little bit like any motivations from family, friends, cousins, anything from the familia or that kind of helps you? Are you close with your family? How's that going? I'm real close with my family, so.
Yeah, so definitely very close to my family. My family is actually pretty small. So, I mean, if you listen to my music, you'll definitely catch my drift, or you probably already kind of understand the dynamics of my family. But my dad raised me just like literally on his own.
Yeah, that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, yeah. My dad raised me since I was like 2 years old. Unfortunately, I've never had a relationship with my mom. Growing up, that was hard. Being a girl, you know what I'm saying, and being raised by a man, it's a little difficult. But we made it work. He definitely made up for her. He's an amazing dad. He's like my biggest inspiration. Yeah, that's like my real day one. Yeah, he's
For real.
he's super dope. I can't even put it into words, but yeah, he raised me on his own, and that's my world right there. Like everything that I do, is specifically dedicated to him. So yeah, that's me right there, my dad. But as far as that, I got a sister as well that I'm also very close to. She's on here, Natalie. And
right. Shout out, girl. Shout out, sis.
Yeah, but my cousins as well. Like once again, if you listen to my music, I literally name all of them one by one in a specific song. But my cousins also, they're like my siblings. I love them. And my aunts and my uncles and whatnot. But because I only grew up with my dad's side of the family, that's really all I know. As far as like my mom's side and the history and the culture, fortunately, I don't really know too much. But yeah, as far as like my family, definitely very, very close to my dad.
That's dope, man. It's just nice to hear. I mean, it's sad to hear about that, but it's also beautiful to hear about a man stepping up like that. I mean, doing what he's supposed to do. But I mean, shout out to Pops.
Yeah, it's the other way around, but in this.
Yeah, right. And the shout out to the mother of my child. She is such a great mother, and so I can only imagine how hard that could have been not to have that. You know what I mean?
But shout out to the dads out there, because I know. So shout out to all of them. There you go.
That's right. Fathers and their daughters. Joe 707 said, "Who are some of your musical influences?"
Ooh, so I grew up. I feel like the biggest influence for me was like 2000s R&B, like Neo, Mariah Carey, like Paula Deanda, like that Alicia Keys, like that type of era. I wouldn't say that there's like one specific artist from that. Huh?
Alicia Keys is a fucking savage.
Hell yeah.
She don't wear no makeup no more. Can you believe that?
I seen that she like was trying to make a statement, right? That's dope. But yeah, I would say that era really influenced my music.